Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? It's Friday. Fergie's there. That's probably going to be topped. Not going to be topped, really, as a strangest thing that comes through the PO box. Although, famous last word saying that. How's everyone doing? What are you getting up to this weekend? Let me know. Anybody got any cracking weekend plans going? I'm going to bring you the latest United news. Yesterday, we were having conversations around the potential Saudi investment. Today, we're following up on that with reports that have now kind of shifted a little bit towards potential investment from UAE and a potential takeover bid and a consortium considering an offer. And that's all I'm going to do at this point. Right, let me see who's here from the mods and the members. Let's get on with today's show. Got so you're loving the lighting? I thought I'd go white today. Very themed. It's probably the most themed I've ever been. Manny, good morning to you. We've got Steph there. We've got Carl there. Just had a 14-hour shift. Well, what better way to wind down than, I don't know, not be here and be in a bath? That'd be nice. With a beer. I've got a mate, Jake. Loves having a bath and a beer. What do you reckon about that? Is that controversial? Probably quite nice. Let's go and try it sometime. Gungshi, good morning to you. We've got Ian. How you doing, man? Nice to see you there. It's been a while. Josh, good morning to you as well. Some members as well. We can say hello to JC, who is a mod and a member, and he's coming in strong and gifting 20. Good morning to you. What are you getting up to this weekend, JC? Apart from being an absolute G. A JCG. I'm Luke, I'm Father, my dad's Bruce Lee. Anyone else remember that song? 10 points for the artist. I think I've asked that before. There's Loppy. Told you. Ruined it now, haven't I? Finn, good morning to you. Richard, it's your son's birthday today. Well, big up to your son. Happy 10th birthday. Yeah, I like this one. It's a good shirt. Right. Yeah, Fergie is looking happy. I'll be honest. If we lose to Liverpool, Fergie's still going to look like that. I'm able to put a sad face on him. I don't quite know. Right, as always, please do get involved in the chat. I try to make it as engaged as I possibly can. And we'll get on with today's show. Yeah, Mr. Man, you like that song. Nizloppy. Big up to Nizloppy. Were they a one-hit wonder? It must have been a one-hit wonder. They got any other songs I don't know about? Gangshi as well. Jimmy's been a little bit ill this week. Head of community. So we've had a little bit of a delay in what we've been working on in the background. I'll tell you what, some of the prominent members of this community, that like the likes of Gungshi and JC, and who've like contributed so much and given so much to help with the growth of it. Probably going to be leaning on all you guys for some more in-depth input into what we're building behind the scenes. Because I definitely want all of you as a community to be involved in it. Elliot said, any games this weekend? Pretty sure, is it League One? Is it League One down? They still play? I think so. And Gary, good morning to you. Gifting 5 memberships. Everyone's feeling good vibes in here today. I like it. And Kieran, what are you saying? Do we break the bank for Carlos Baleba and use Kobe as his partner, meaning Bruno has to slot in as an left attacking midfield? I'll speak about Bruno a little bit later in the show, Kieran. After reports from the BBC that he's got no intention of going and joining a Saudi team. All right, I'll run through that. And also reports on Maguire too. Yeah, there's quite a few things we can speak about. Now, internationals. Last night, Denmark playing Belarus absolutely whooped them. 6-0. 2 goals from Højlund, obviously. And a goal, not really an assist. It's kind of like, I think he's hit the post. Was it hit the keeper, hit the post? Came back. Anyway, he got a goal. 8.6. Dorgu had a cracking game at left wing back for Denmark. And as I said, that's 5 goals in 3 games for Højlund. He's enjoying himself out there now. Well, not just out there. He seems a freer man, and we know that. Right? It's you can point towards United and say United are the problem, but it's simply like just stepping out of the United spotlight. It's like not getting sunburned anymore. It's like, oh, this is nicer. There's just less the pressure. Akash saying we're still talking about Rasmus. Well, he scored 2 last night, and he assisted Dorgu's goal. So that's why we're speaking about him. But Dorgu, really good to see him have a cracking game for Denmark. I think I already asked you this. I don't need to ask again. Like Dorgu's, I've got no doubt on the sort of the fundamentals of Dorgu, but the technicals is probably the area where he needs to work on, like the athletic side of thing. I think his actually positioning is quite good too. It's more the finesse and the technicals of going forward the things that he needs to work on the most at United. So it's good to see him get a goal. It's good to see him have a good performance. Alan, good morning to you as well. Alan Gungshi and JC, all gifting 20 memberships. I can't tell you how generous that is, man. To all of you. Joe messaged me yesterday, Headmod on Discord, saying that there's a little bit of a problem linking your YouTube accounts on Discord. Because if you do that, then you go into the members-only chat in Discord. I'm not quite sure why that is. I haven't changed anything on my end. So I'll try and look into that today and see if there's anything I can help with. But I don't particularly know why that's happening. Steve saying it's only Belarus, but I'm happy for him. I'll tell you who else I'm happy for. Sekou Kone, in the gym, working on his fitness. We have no idea. Remember, who were they playing? Was it Tamworth? I just remembered that. Can't remember. But he got a bad head injury. It feels like a couple of months ago, playing for United's under-21s. I haven't really heard much since. The club said that straight after, I think he went to hospital for further tests and he was conscious and okay. But other than that, we haven't really heard too much. So it's good to see Sekou Kone training in the gym and maybe working his way back towards fitness. Head injuries, you can never take any sort of risks with. But it's good to see that he's fit and well enough to be training in the gym. And I suppose we'll find out in the goodness of time how close he is towards playing for the under-21s again. Yeah. Triple B, saying it's your 40th birthday today. Happy birthday. Great age. Great age. Great age. Bit. Auntie saying, didn't know he was going to come back this quick. Hopefully he's fit enough. Good for him. Don't know. Who cares what he's wearing? I mean, that looks like a... Surely you've got that shirt from Knockoff Nigel down the market. Since when were Nike ticks vertical? I might be wrong. Maybe there was a special edition one they did for Barcelona. Sod knows. Who cares? People try to find problems in things, I suppose. Anyway, let's speak about the headline for today's show. This does kind of feel like we're reversing a little bit. And we're kind of having conversations. You're all saying that. Is that really a new style of Nike? Like a vertical tick? That's just weird. I'm not saying that. That's dead weird. Anyway, as I said, it kind of feels like we're stepping back 18 months, 2 years, and we're having conversations about UAE, Dubai, Qatar, Saudi, takeover. Ineos weren't there. Ineos were an option, weighing everything up. Now, I'm going to cover it all today. And for those who aren't able to join in the live show, I'll do so in a condensed version in my lunchtime video. That's what I always do. It's kind of the standard daily thing I do on this channel. But this is kind of taken a slightly different turn to the conversation we were having yesterday around Saudi investors. I'll explain it. Fran saying, any idea why I can't listen on YouTube music? I'm not sure, Fran. I don't listen to YouTube music, so I wouldn't know the user interface or any thing you can or can't do. Tyler saying, sorry I've missed the last show. Had my son born on the 8th at 11:50 p.m. He's called Sam, isn't he? I mean, he better be called Sam, Tyler. Right? If he's not, I'm not going to do anything. But congratulations to you and your partner. I love the content. Keep up the good work. Big up to you, dude, man. That's awesome. Well, good luck to not sleep for a while. Right. Let me sort of run through what happened. I think you already know what happened because I covered it yesterday. But it was this tweet from, Turkey Al-Sheikh, who is the chairman of the General Entertainment Authority? Blah, blah, blah. He's basically the head of sport for the Saudi government. He's the man who's the face that goes to all the boxing events, that goes to all the sporting events, leading the Big Six. He's the face of Saudi's investment in sport globally. So because he tweeted this, everyone got talking about it. And I did a video covering it yesterday. And I spoke about all the different options, by the way. I personally felt that any concept of Saudi investment felt like it was most likely in something to do with the stadium, whether that was stadium naming rights, whether that was paying for the whole thing outright, whether that was, I don't know, becoming potentially a third partner in United and more shares being released. I didn't think that was going to happen. But I spoke about the complete and different options. Now, the BBC followed up on that and said this, right? Saudi Sports Supremo's Man United takeover post prompts questions, but Manchester United sources have rejected any claims made by Saudi Sports Supremo Turkey Al Sheikh that the club is in advanced negotiations over a sale to a new investor. So from the BBC's perspective and from what's been said by the club, there was nothing to these rumours. But now there's more. And that's what I'm going to bring you this morning. Before I do, I've got to pause again. Dean. Thank you, man. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Alex for sending in that. Thank you to Fran for sending in that bit of artwork there. And also that there. I've still got the photos here. I just haven't got them up yet. But just thank you to everybody who keeps contributing. Like Dean gifting 50 memberships is an incredible, incredible contribution. So generous of you. And to everyone else. I always see it as the greatest compliment that we've ever built on this channel. The fact that everyone encourages others to come into the membership circle. I love that. I really, really do, man. And Mike, you gifted 5 as well. Like all of you. The weekend can't be ruined. It's a good vibe in here. The lights are white. Don't know why that's got anything to do with it. But I just said it. And Paul, you gifted 5 as well. Man, it's going nuts today. It's going absolutely nuts today. Let me just follow up on this, right? So this is from Turk Al Sheikh last night. Trying to explain his post in a bit more detail, which kind of sounds a little bit like a reversal-ish. My yesterday's post about Manchester United's potential sale meant one thing. The club is in advanced negotiation phase with a new investor. Just to clarify, I'm not the investor, nor are they from my nation. I'm posting this as a fan who wishes the deal to happen. Though it might not necessarily happen. Will it happen? Might not happen. You know what it kind of feels like at this point with Turkey? Because, like, clearly this... I don't need to tell you how well connected this bloke is. He's literally the face of like Saudi investment in sport. He's got access to millions, probably billions that he can pull the trigger on investing in loads of things. And he's probably the decision maker. So he's not just some random person tweeting in any way, shape or form. What it sounds like is that he's heard through the grapevine, through his own sources, that something could be happening. And we're going to run into this now, in UAE, and he probably wants it to happen. His words, not mine, because he's actually a United fan. And is this his way of putting it into the public so it kind of forces it to, I suppose, become a bit more of a reality? There's some form of pressure that he's exerting by getting involved in this. And especially if they're not from Saudi. When you think about it, like, what would be the purpose of him? Because I always try and do that. Like, what would be the purpose of him getting involved here? What's he trying to influence or change or shift? And someone down there saying he's probably the most connected person in Middle Eastern sport. And he's certainly right up there. Okay? So, let me follow on from that. Because there's more. This is from TalkSport. And this is from TalkSport and Daily Mail. Which is something to consider. And again, this is something I always say, like, you can see the title of today's video. What is it? Like, UAE Consortium is considering a Man United offer. There is no 5 billion offer. Man United have not been sold. Like, the takeover offer is not imminent and advanced and about to happen. And it's the thing that always frustrates me. Like, when it comes to headlines, it's like, if you're looking at the United space, it's competitive. There are so many different channels that want your attention. So the easiest way to do that is to embellish the headline, take it a step further. Even if it's in early negotiations, say it's in advanced negotiations. If an offer's gone in for a player, say that we've signed that player. Taking it further forward to draw you in. It always frustrates me. There's nothing I could do about it. It's just, you could say the game's the game. But I try my best to avoid it as best as I possibly can. Otherwise, to not piss you off. And piss me off as well. But this here, right, Manchester United legends have been approached over a possible takeover, and this is something that's repeated both in the Daily Mail and TalkSport about legends getting involved. That's Rio Ferdinand just moving to Dubai. Oh no, right? So this is where the main conversation is coming from now, because it's Chris Wheeler. Kevin, you're saying please don't put any credence on TalkSport or Daily Mail. They're both clickbait. I'm doing this off the back of Chris Wheeler, not just off the back of Chris Wheeler. I'm summarising all of it as much as I possibly can, because there's quite a lot that's been said, from Turkel Sheikh to the TalkSport stuff to the Daily Mail stuff to the United refusing it. That's come from the BBC. So I'm just trying to summarise it all for you. But it's come from Chris Wheeler, who certainly got some sources at United, but what is he saying? I'll run through the article and then I'll go down here and read some of the chat. United's potential takeover. UAE Group is considering a bid. Let me see what he's saying. United could be the subject of a fresh takeover bid following a claim by, as I said, Turki Al Sheikh. A consortium based in the UAE is understood to be considering making an offer to the Glazer family, who would demand in excess of $5 billion. We already know that. That is, if I'm correct, the exact same price. There might be even a little bit more on it. If I remember, a couple of years ago, am I right on this? Was it $6 billion that they wanted to sell the club? Michael, you saying Howson's asked Rio, said it's not him? Fair enough. I think it was $6 billion that the Glazers wanted for the full sale of the club, which of course was not reflective of the actual price of Manchester United at the time, but it's what they wanted. And I think Ineos so far spent somewhere between $1 billion and 1.3 or 4 billion, thereabouts. I think so anyway. Anyway, I already approached some ex-United players about coming on board as ambassadors. That was the same sort of thing that happened with the Al Jassim stuff. Was it the 92? What was it his thing was called? I think it was called the 92. Something along those lines. You know, that limited company that was set up in the UK and then got abolished. I think so. But look, anyway, there's so far been no contact with the Glazers. That's what they're saying. The comment caught United by surprise. An Old Trafford insider said on Thursday that they don't know where this information has come from. Anthony, you're saying that Ineos has spent 1.3 billion for 27%. 9-2 Foundation, that was it. Thanks, Jibek. And then we go down here. And this is where it currently is, about considering an offer. There is no full takeover offer. There is no $5 billion offer that's coming in. The consortium's plans are still at an early stage with no guarantee it will develop into a formal bid. So, we go back here. A bit embellished. We go over here. Or maybe it's... I suppose it's that word can be down to interpretation. I don't know. I can't be bothered to speak about the specifics of what constitutes early stages, what constitutes advanced stages. Remember that I don't know why I'm doing it again. I always think of houses. I remember doing that at the time. I think it was because I was going through a house purchase or house sale at that time, in terms of early and late stages of negotiations. But that's what's being reported. Now, a few things I want to say on this. I covered it yesterday. I always kind of feel like there could be a separate video that I could do, which is just a pure explainer on what these drag-along rights actually are, when they came into effect, what they actually mean, what was written into the tender document that was released on the initial takeover by Trawlers Limited. I feel like that in itself could be it, because there's a lot of confusing and mixed messaging going around, isn't there, on what these drag-along rights are. Does this mean that the Glazers could simply force Ratcliffe to sell? I don't think so. Everything that I've read about these, and again, people were telling me I was incorrect yesterday, so I did plenty more research. From everything I've read and I can tell, these drag-along rights do exist, and they came into effect in August. And it means that the Glazers, if they wanted to, they could go behind Ineos's back. They could hold talks with other investors. They could try and find someone to have that full sale. They would then have to bring that offer to Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos and say, look, we've got X amount of offer, or we've got X offer that's going to be worth X amount per share to buy us out of the club completely. And they have to present that to Ineos. And Ineos do have the ability to match that offer. So that right of refusal still feels, as far as I can see, that it exists. Now, this is partly, Jim Ratcliffe he's played a dangerous game with the Glazers since the beginning because he has schmoozed them. He has given them back massages. He has done everything. They're actually really nice people. Man, they're not. Man, they are snakes. They would sell their siblings if it meant they got a business deal somewhere else. They would sell their soul to the devil if it meant they got an agreement and signed on a dotted line. I know that. You know that. We know that from the 20 years that they've owned our football club. Jim Ratcliffe has had to schmooze them because it was the only bloody way that he could get in there. It was the only, because he couldn't afford the 5-6 bill. So there is a possibility that they are going behind his back. I would not rule that out. But to try and suggest that the Glazers could just simply force Ratcliffe out, I think is kind of not particularly the full truth. If they came with a huge offer worth 5 bill and Ineos didn't want to match it, then they could drag him along. I'll tell you what, you look at Ineos, and there was an interview. Sorry if I can be bothered to listen to the whole of it, but it's like a 27-minute interview. You know, that the quotes that came out from the business podcast about Ruben Amorim getting 3 years and stuff like that. It's actually a 27-minute pod. And I imagine a lot of it is going to be speaking about Ineos. Because I saw a little clip on Ineos' Twitter about how the chemical industry in Europe is on its knees and look at the production's going down. I genuinely think there'll be conversations going on behind the scenes. I'm speaking purely hypothetical here. About Ineos diversifying their own profile. A question to ask you, right? This is purely hypothetical here. Let's say this happens, right? Let's say this happens. Let's say that UAE Consortium comes up with an offer of 5 bill for the rest of the shares of Manchester United, completely offering to buy the Glazers out. Do you think that Ineos would actually try and match that offer? Yes or no? Or do you think they'll be like, no, we're not doing that. It's at this point that we're pulling out. I think they've got the money. Or saying that, didn't they just have to do a massive amount of lending in order to build? I think they're just about to build a massive plant somewhere in Europe. It's like a 4 billion plant or something like that. I don't think that they would. Alex and Siraj and Prem, you're all saying no. A couple of you are saying yes, but the majority of you are saying no. Anthony is saying if they can, I think they will. I think if they did, they would definitely take on more debt to do so. I can't imagine they would do that with cash. And I don't know whether we know exactly where that money would probably go. But all in all, going back to this one about there being in an advanced stage for an investor. That's been denied by the club directly from Simon Stone and anybody else who's tried to get a comment from the club. They've completely distanced themselves from it. Turkey Al Sheikh has also then kind of stepped back and said, look, it might not happen. I want it to happen. But again, he's saying it's at an advanced stage, which is the opposite of what is being reported by the Daily Mail, saying that a consortium is there. And Maybe these conversations are happening. And maybe there is a new... I'm trying to take myself back to... I remember the first, if I remember correctly anyway, the first concept of any sort of state involvement, Middle Eastern involvement in Manchester United, I think was from Dubai, wasn't it? Do you remember it first started? And then I think it was Mike Keegan who came up, and then the Qatari side started out. Kind of surprised us all. But it was I think it was Dubai first of all. Who else is inside the UAE? Don't actually know. UAE. 7 Emirates. There you go. Didn't know that. Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Al Quain. I haven't heard of most of these. Anyway, so 7. Didn't know that. Right. Let me read some of your comments out. Because that's it all sort of summarised, I suppose. John, you're saying the Red Knights. Fat chance. Kalopi super chat. I don't know what you're going on about. And also, I don't run the socials. So that's not really me. There's your answer. Kevin saying, obviously a long, long way from being at an advanced stage. Early conversations only if that. Kind of feels like... It doesn't feel like that. I don't particularly know why he would just make that sort of thing up without having some sort of understanding of a conversation. But it does just kind of feel like it's at conversation stage. Someone down there saying, Sam, would you actually want Ineos to own 100% even if they could? Would I want the Glazers to be gone from my football club? Yes. Unequivocally. It's a little bit like the crossover from Mike Ashley. I'm not saying, just in my head anyway. A little bit like the crossover from Newcastle from Mike Ashley to Saudi. Like purely for the fact that Mike Ashley was gone, you kind of, certainly in the short term after, Newcastle fans just absolutely brushed over anything to do with concerns or criticisms of anything to do with Saudi and anything to do with the Public Investment Fund. Simply because Mike Ashley was gone. But I've said this so many times, and my position on it will not change, no matter how much you, I suppose, say to me or anything like that. I do not want Manchester United to be a state-owned football club. Never. Never in a million years. I don't care what's going on. I don't care how bad it gets. I don't care what happens to my... I just don't want it. Now, if it comes down to the point where it's owned by individuals from the Middle East, I've got nothing against that. I'm not talking about private investment. I'm talking about state ownership of Manchester United. The PIF direct links to... I mean, Mohammed bin Salman is literally the chairman of the PIF. Right? Saudi-owned Newcastle. Done. It's nothing to do with like private investment or anything like that. That's where I would just completely draw the line. I wouldn't change anything at Manchester United if that was the answer. When it comes to like private investment, like wealthy individuals and stuff like that, or businesses, and I'm not going to rule any of that out. It's just the state stuff that I personally rule out. Anti's saying, agreed, Sam, beggars can't be choosers. No, you still can be choosers. It's exactly the point I'm making. Right. I know not everyone will agree with me on that one, but that's just my personal position on it. But that is all the sort of everything covered on these rumours, right? Okay. Would you stop supporting the club if it had a state owner? Man, I'd disconnect massively from Manchester United. I really, really would. I really would. It's not. Would I stop supporting my football club? Well, it would put me in a quandary. That's for sure. It would put me in a quandary. One door saying to help us understand your stance. Dude, I don't know how many times I've explained this on this channel. Like, I hate what state ownership has done in modern football. I know that Abramovich wasn't a state, but Abramovich was effectively the criminal who came over from Russia with state assets that he got given on the cheap, that he basically took away from the country, and then he had loads of money to spend. He didn't really care what to do. That's kind of it's almost a little bit. That was the beginning of the proper sugar daddy owners in the Premier League, but it's what's happened with City, and it's happened with PSG, and I just do not like it. I do, and I never ever want it for Manchester United. I don't care what you tell me about if you can't beat them, join them, and this and that. I don't ever want Manchester United to be a state-owned football club. End the conversation. And I feel like I've explained that so many times. And I really don't think I need to explain it anymore. I think saying true, the world changes, times have to change, and United need to change. No, United do not need to do that. No. Nope. Anyway, let's move on. Let's have a conversation about Bruno. Let's have a conversation about Maguire. And also, there's a quiz towards the end of the show, courtesy of Andy Mitten. Spotted it. Thought it'd be fun. Bruno. I've given my opinion that I think Manchester United have got a succession plan at this club. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But I suppose they played a bit of a risky game. I think it's Bruno to be kept for this season. And then the club, I would imagine, plans to move Bruno on next summer, and then Kobe to step into his role or his position in the squad. And obviously, Bruno rejected a move to Saudi in the summer. I celebrated it. I was happy that Bruno's staying. I understand those that disagree with me. I didn't agree with you, and you didn't agree with me. So that's a difference of opinions, right? And United are certainly struggling this season with the fact that we've got like an overload of number 10s and we don't have a central midfielder. But this is from the BBC yesterday, right? Fernandes has no interest in a Saudi switch from Simon Stone. Bruno has no interest in moving to the Saudi Pro League at the end of the season. BBC Sport understands. Portuguese midfielder rejected huge offers from Al Hilal and Al Ittihad, and sources close to the skipper have completely rejected recent suggestions he is ready to quit Old Trafford after the World Cup next summer and accept a Saudi offer. BBC Sport has been told that is not the case, and Fernandes, whose contract runs out in 27 with the option of additional year, is only interested in playing in major European leagues. So that there, my question on that, is the Portuguese league considered a major European league? I know it's not part of the top, like the big five, was it? Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, Liga. Is that right? Those five. Is the Portuguese league part of that? Is it considered a major European league? I mean, it feels like it should be. I suppose it's just maybe just a step down from the French league. But this is what's being reported. So I wanted to sort of get your take on this. On what you think is going to happen with Bruno next in the summer coming up. Christos saying, hi Sam, Miguel Delaney is reporting that PIF have been told to sell Newcastle as it's deemed a failure and are interested in buying United. Well, I hope that's not the case. I hope it's not true. What are we saying down here? Michael, you're saying Bruno doesn't seem the type to move to Saudi. He'd probably stay in Europe if he eventually leaves next summer. I would put Portugal 6th, just behind France, says Kieran. Don't know. I think he'd love to go. And where did we sign? We signed from Sporting. Wonder if Bruno would go back to Sporting. I always thought that Ronaldo would go back to Sporting as well. Maybe he will right at the end, but not right now. John, you saying Bruno's not going? I don't think Bruno will want to go. But it was my feeling in the summer, and it's my feeling still, is the next summer will be the right time for Manchester United as a football club to move Bruno on. The reason I was kind of staunchly against, I was pretty against it this summer, was because I felt that we needed, in a summer of so much turmoil, change, and turnover, I wanted Bruno to stay for a bit of continuation. Not continuation. Don't know the right word to describe it. I just felt his influence would be a good thing to have. Let's see. UPTV Megabase. UPTV Megabase. Megabase, like the old school stereo systems, used to have that Megabase button. You go, well, I'm obviously pressing that. The amount of times I got sent to the dean of my university. I found out. Where was I? I was in like 13th floor in my tower at uni. And the bloody dean lived above me. And I had one of those old school stereos. Big hi-fi in the middle, 4-disc CD changer, 2 massive speakers and a sub. Oh man, I got some noise complaints. Who's ringing me? Someone always rings me. I guarantee the door rings as well. Anyway, BBC is saying that stability, that's the word I was looking for, thanks. BBC is saying that he's got no interest in moving to Saudi. Let's find out. Now, this one's a bit... if I'm being completely honest. This is from Fabrizio yesterday. Saying Manchester United are in talks with Harry Maguire over a new deal with... I'll tell you what, one sec. I think I might know who this is. Obviously, right, there's been a delivery, which I can't not bloody open the door for. Bloke's turned up with a pallet. You're going to have to deal with the chair for like a minute, all right? Look at Fergie. Just can't get the staff these days. Right, there you go. That's why we got Fergie here. Step in. Oh, my bad. I basically had a pallet turn up that I didn't... Obviously, there's only 1 hour in the day where you can't turn up. Let's turn up. Slap bang into live show. But anyway, that's why Fergie's there. Yeah, I should have put some elevator music on. I'm going to get some hold music, and I'll play it anytime anything like that happens again. No, it wasn't Saudi calling at the door, unfortunately. Anyway, let's speak about this. Harry Maguire. Where were we? Manchester United are in talks with Harry Maguire over a new deal with an existing contract due to expire in June. Face-to-face meetings with his camp took place in the recent days, and more will follow to discuss conditions. this is just not the right thing to do. It really is just not the right thing to do. I think Maguire's on nearly 200k a week. Right, Gordon is saying he's seen as being a good pro and good for youngsters, and I can understand that to a certain degree, a certain point. But it seemed like such a clear and obvious thing that Manchester United were going to be doing this summer was, anyway, in my head, anyway, this is what I had in my head, that Harry Maguire was going to be, shake your hand, thanks for your contribution to United, and he leaves the football club, and Man United spend big on a new central centre-back, or maybe Euro player. Anyway, we spend big on a new centre-back. It felt like the obvious thing to do. Someone down there, 21, is coming saying maybe a 1 year only. Maybe a 1 year only. But it just, even then, I think Harry Maguire has a real purpose this season for United. I don't particularly think it's starting games. I think that's Delict. I think Maguire's going to be in certain games or certain scenarios. Maybe certain games Maguire might start, but certain game states, Maguire comes on and has an impact. Glenn, it may be like if United were to give him a new deal for 1 year on reduced terms, maybe, but and I suppose if I just don't think this is the right thing to do. Right, let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. Right, door's knocking again. My God. It's dead annoying. Where's some hold music? I can't get hold music because it's just not. Whoop. Shambles. Shambles of a show. This is sackable. Absolutely sackable. I'm giving myself a disciplinary after this show. Well, the likes go up when I leave. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. Right, what are we saying down here? Matt saying reduce wages. Sell euro. Huh? Huh? Well, Neil. Come on, don't troll this morning. Yeah, it's Friday vibes. I'm not wearing boots. Someone had a go at me for wearing shoes indoors. My feet get cold. Say, cold up in here. Look, my point here, it wasn't Harry either. My personal perspective on this, Harry Maguire should be moved on in the summer and United should be investing in a centre-back. It feels like the obvious thing to do. But maybe they'll try and delay that by 1 year. Maybe they'll give Maguire a new 1 year contract. I don't know. It just seems like an odd thing. Sam, you need a logistical department. No, I just need a pallet not to turn up for like between 1 hour during the whole day. Right. No, I didn't. The Paul scored lottery. I still think that's a con. It's probably not a con. It's like when I got a bit of random segue here. Anyone ever done a speed awareness course? Did one once. And I was just like, come on. Average speed cameras? They lie? They a con? Got into an argument with the instructor. She wasn't happy with me. Still think they're a little bit of a con. Don't want to know how Sam disciplines himself. But if you sign up to Only Sam's, you'll get to see it. Right, let's move on to this. There's only a couple more things to speak about. It's been a bit of a mad show. Feels like a Friday show today for sure. I'm also going to map up later. This reeks. Like there is nothing you can tell me that's positive about this. First question you're going to ask, Sam, what the hell's a seat license? That's a fair question. Let me tell you. A seat license, it's just a grim concept. It's an American concept here. Look, Seat licenses are not uncommon in the USA, yet no European football club have offered them. They operate on the principle of a fan paying for the right to buy a ticket for a specific seat. So effectively, and you go down here, they're saying that it's understood that licenses will be optional. Ooh, that's nice. And geared towards premium seating areas, while normal general admission season tickets will still be available for a fan and they can have the same seat for every game. Yeah, John, you're saying they do this in the NFL. Effectively, this is a way in which some NFL or American teams raise money to use as part of stadium builds. And it sounds like they're exploring. So I think they're doing a new fan consultation. I can tell you what the answers on that's going to be. But by the sounds of it, it's the idea that they can somehow charge some fans twice for the same seat. John, I know that this was already discussed before the fans. I think was it the fans forum, as you said. But now they're doing a full consultation, full like fan survey that's being sent out to everybody. Don't know whether it's just members, don't know whether it's season ticket holders or both. But it's a way to raise more money. I don't know how much it would actually raise. It's a grim concept. It really is. Like James is saying Arsenal already did it. Nope. There's literally no other European club that has seat licenses. Quite literally written right there. No European club has offered them. So Arsenal have not done this. Let's see what happens. I imagine I know what the fan consultation is going to be and the responses to that survey. But yeah. It's just a bit of a grim concept, being totally honest. It's a rather grim concept. And I'll tell you one thing as well. Naturally, we haven't done a proper mini doc on this. I feel like the United People's production, because we've scaled. You might have noticed this actually. I'll explain this. You might have noticed that we've scaled back the United People's productions a little bit. It's been a very tumultuous, we'll call it, atmosphere among United fans, and we've pulled back a little bit on the productions because of that. Because they take a lot of time, a lot more investment, money and time to get them produced. But also at the same time, we're working on bigger stuff behind the scenes. So we want to save the energy that we're not putting into those and drive it into this instead. But naturally, I recorded the voiceover for our next one we're going to be doing, which is a complete stadium update. Loads of stuff that we can speak about in that. And as soon as I bloody record that, all this stuff comes out with all the seat licenses and the fan surveys and the consultations, and there's loads more info in that. So we're now going to have to re-record part of it today and get it back over to the editor. But there's going to be a video coming out hopefully next week. 2 edited videos coming out this week. One on Saturday. We're going to be doing something on Sheshko, on his performances so far, growth, etc., and what I think should be important against Liverpool. And the second one will be an update on the stadium. Everything that's happened in the last few months, conversations that are going on behind the scenes, just to bring you bang up to date with what's going on with the stadium. It's a mad show today. Oh, JC, can you gift me some hold music? Some copyright-free hold music. You legend. Gifted 50. Mate, everyone's been mad generous this morning. Jeez. What do you reckon in here? Can you type in white or red? Do you prefer the white or the red lights? Definitely not pure red, because it gets a little bit Demon Headmaster up in here. That's the Glazers taking over. This is when the Glazers have left Manchester United. Brighter. But do you prefer the full white, or, just changing my line, top light to that one? Yeah. Do you prefer it all white, or do you prefer it white and red? I quite like the white. I've tried green and gold, Josh, but it doesn't really, the camera doesn't pick it up as good. It's really quite annoying. I quite like the all white though. Well, most of you are saying white. Mix it up. Maybe I will mix it up sometimes. All right, we'll keep it all white today. Maybe I'll come in and I'll change. I'll come in a green and gold kit. I'll start doing themed shows. Oh, man. This feels like an old school stream today. JC's gifting 50. I'm going to have to put a hat on. Don't know why I'm going to put a hat on. But I'm going to put a hat on. JC, indeed. Jesus Christ. Mate. JC's won the postcode lottery, indeed. Everyone, man. I love this community. Thank you. Thank you for still enabling me to do what I do. I like to think that you trust me by now. I like to think that you know me by now. You know, by the point that we all actually meet and we get the live show done this year, it's going to feel like you've all met me and I've never met you. I suppose that's kind of what it does. But, mate, you're a ledge, man. Awesome. Yeah, theme shows. That'll be a fun thing to do. Right. I'll tell you what was a fun thing to do as well. Wrap it up with the community this week. Where are you watching from, peeps? Let me know the country and the city. Right? Barry's gone into retirement, to be fair. Maybe we'll bring Barry out for the live show. Let me know the city and the country you're watching from. I'll get it onto the map. Gifts for the empty chair. To be fair, we should get that, shouldn't we? Feels like the right time. Bah. This chair's way too heavy. If ever there was a day for it. Gongshi has been renamed JC for today. The Gongsi. That work? Don't know. Keep that there. Right, let me see where you're watching from. Let's get a few of you added onto the map. Let's go full screen this bad boy. We've got Rofi watching from Penang in Malaysia. Isn't Penang a curry? Probably a Malaysian curry. I'll be honest. That makes perfect sense. I haven't had a curry in ages. Fred watching from Ontario in Canada. Ontario. In you go. Welcome aboard. And let's go one more. We've got one more from Finn watching from Bloemfontein. I'm pretty sure I said that right. I mean, we all know my pronunciations. Let's be honest, not the best. But look, that was a heck of a fun show. Rich is saying, what's the connection with Barry? I don't know, just gonna do it anyway. It just became a bit of a meme on the channel, really. That's kind of all it was. Right. Plan of attack for the next couple of days. Today, I'm going to cover the UAE stuff, try and get some more information, do a little bit more diving and research on that, okay? That's going to be lunchtime video. For anybody who missed out on that, it's just a little condensed version of the live show. Not everyone's got the ability to tune in for 40, 50, 55 minutes. Tomorrow, going to have a little edited video on Sheshko, on what he's done so far, and what I hope we're going to be seeing against Liverpool, which could actually really work in our favour. Sunday, not sure. Then Monday, it's a fresh new week. Everyone have a cracking weekend. To JC for gifting 100, dude. To Dean for gifting 50. For Gungshi for gifting. I actually gifted 120, dude. And he even sent in a gift saying that gifts for the empty chair. It's going to become iconic. Well, next time, I have to put Fergie on the chair. I'm going to get some hold music. Alex is saying, when are you doing essential midfielder videos? We're going to be recording, hopefully, the Carlos Baleba one this week. And it's going to be a new series we start on this channel. Probably calling it like UPTV Scouting. We're going to do one on Baleba, Wharton, and Anderson. And then probably take a look at some youth players from around the world that we think that we should be looking at. All right? Have a cracking weekend. Thanks, everyone. That was fun. Especially for the bloke who turned up with the pallet of goods. Yeah. Have a great weekend.